Hey there, I am so excited that you're here for another day of sewing. We are going to continue on the Rebecca storage bag pattern, so if you missed part one, be sure to watch that so that we are all caught up. So we're going to start by preparing the pocket window panels today. Grab some double-sided basting tape and adhere it to the wrong side of each piece D and E along the center. You'll also want to adhere it to the top folded edge of each piece B. If you don't have any basting tape, that's okay. You can also use sewing clips. Then, with right sides up, align the outer long edges of one contrast piece E over each side of the clear vinyl piece F. Press down to adhere the basting tape, or you can use sewing clips to hold the edges in place. Then top stitch each piece E an 1/8 inch from the long edges. I'm using a narrow foot to keep an even seam allowance, but you may want to switch over to a Teflon foot, which will prevent your fabric from sticking to the bottom of the foot as you sew. With right sides up, align the outer long edges of one contrast piece D over the top and bottom edges of each clear vinyl piece F. Use some sewing clips to help hold each piece in place. This is where basting tape really comes in handy. With right sides up, position one piece F over each piece B, aligning the sides, and also the inner edge of the bottom border should be along the folded edge of piece B. You can also add a couple clips at the beginning and end to help hold it in place. You can't use pins through the vinyl or the cork or faux leather because it will leave a permanent hole. Top stitch each bottom horizontal border an 1/8 inch from the long edges. Make sure you repeat this step for each of the pockets. Now we're ready to attach the pockets to the main panels. You're going to start by measuring from the top short edge of each main fabric piece A, and you're going to mark a horizontal line down according to the pattern. So every time you mark a line, you're going to mark down measuring from the top edge, and you'll want to mark it with a removable pen or some chalk. I also noted on the wrong side the letter T, so that way I know which edge is the top. Next, with right sides up, you're going to center the main fabric raw edge of one prepared pocket along each of the lines indicated in the pattern. I use some pins to hold the fabric in place. Now we're going to top stitch each pocket a 1/4 inch from the main fabric raw edge. Be sure to move each pocket out of the way as you stitch the next pocket. For me, it really helped to roll the panel, so that way the roll was inside the bed of my machine and out of the way. Keep repeating the same process until all of your pockets are attached to both of your piece A main panels. Now, press each pocket down, covering the raw edge, and add some pins to hold the fold in place. In the next step, we're going to be top stitching a 1/2 inch from each seam, so it might be helpful for you to take a ruler and mark down a horizontal line a 1/2 inch from the seam fold. After pinning and possibly marking, you're going to top stitch a 1/2 inch from each seam just sewn to conceal the raw edges. Next, fold each pocket up and center the outer edge of each top horizontal border along the nearest above line. You can add some more basting tape to hold it in place, or you could even tape over top of the border piece with some washi tape. I'm just gonna hold it in place as I sew. So here over at the machine, you're going to top stitch each top border an 1/8 inch from the long edges. After all of your top stitching is done, you can remove the marked lines. As you can see, our project is really starting to come together. That was the bulk of the stitching for the project. So in the next part of this tutorial, we'll be making the hang tab, so that way you'll be able to hang this organizer in your closet or on the back of a door. But until then, have a great rest of your day.